Questions are interesting. Question one, I know you can evaluate because we've talked about 60 degrees, 150 degrees, 210 and 300 degrees. But question two looks impossible without a calculator. Let's talk about why it's not. When you look at question one, for 60 degrees, 150, 210, and 300, can you find the reference angle for each of these? 60 degrees is in quadrant 1, so the reference angle is the same as theta. 150 degrees is in quadrant 2. Well, let's write the quadrants up above here also. Quadrant 1, quadrant 2. 150 degrees is 30 away from the x-axis. That's my reference angle. 210 degrees is in quadrant 3. 210 is 30 degrees away from 180. 300 degrees is in quadrant 4, 60 degrees away from the x-axis. So notice that we have two terms with 60-degree reference angle, two terms with a 30-degree reference angle. Now, what do we know about sine? We know that it's positive in quadrant 1 and quadrant 2, negative in quadrants 3 and 4. I don't even have to figure out what the sine of 60 degrees is. I know that here I have a positive and a negative number that are going to cancel each other out because the 60-degree reference angle is the same. 30-degree reference angle is the same, but one is positive and one is negative. This is going to equal 0. Follow this process and try to figure out the answer for question 2. Let's write our quadrants in again. Quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. What about the reference angle? 40 degrees here. 130, 50 away. 220, 40 away. 310, 50 away. Is cosine positive or negative in these quadrants? In quadrant 1 and quadrant 4, we know that cosine is positive. In quadrants 2 and 3, cosine is negative. So again, same reference angle, positive and negative value. Same reference angle, positive and negative value. This equals 0. If this is an exam question, and let's say it's worth 3 or 4 marks, if the only thing you write is 0, I'm going to give you 1 out of 3. I need to see all of this if you want to get a 3 out of 3. Okay? You need to show me your work. Try questions 3 and 4. So in question 3, I see that tangent of 170 degrees is in quadrant 2. It's 10 degrees away from 180. In quadrant 2, tangent is negative. Tangent of 190 degrees is in quadrant 3. It's 10 degrees more than 180. In quadrant 3, tangent is positive. We have the same reference angle with a positive and negative answer. This equals 0. What about the last one? I hope you were able to manage these radians. 6 pi over 7. It doesn't matter what it equals in degrees. I know that when I reach 180 degrees, this is pi radians, 1 pi radian. 6 over 7 is just a little bit less than 1 pi radian. So this was in quadrant 2, where sine is positive. I can clearly see the reference angle for each of them. Remember that 1 pi is the same as 7/7 pi. If we keep going, we're at 2 pi radians. This is 14/7 pi, right? 14/7 equals 2. But this is 15 pi/7. That means we went all the way around the circle and a little bit more to quadrant 1, where sine is also positive. That means these are going to be the same number, both of them positive. Notice that we are subtracting. It's going to equal 0. I would need to see this work for you to get full marks on your test or your exam.